going to become the new norm. So buckle up, get ready, get excited about it, because Zoom is not going anywhere. People will keep doing this for years to come. So want to just thank you guys for your patience with that. And looks like we got another participant to jump on the call with us. So that is awesome. Joseph Luellen, how you doing, sir?
How you doing, everybody? I hope everybody's doing okay. I had a little bit of trouble finding the link. I was mad dash scrambling, but I'm here. I got my presentation ready, and I'm glad to be a part of this.
Excellent. Glad to have you, Joe. So wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'm sure some more people will be finding the link and joining us and tuning in and jumping on board. So with that, without further ado, out of respect for everyone's time, we're going to definitely go ahead and kick things off here and get started. So as always, we always begin with a word of prayer. So if you guys wouldn't mind just bowing your heads with me for a moment of silence as we pray. Heavenly Father, we just thank you so much for this opportunity that you've given us. We thank you for this day that you've put before us. And we just thank you for what you're doing in our businesses and also what you are going to do through our businesses. Lord, I pray a blessing over every person, over every entrepreneur who is on this call tonight. I pray that you would bless their businesses indeed, that you would multiply their efforts. I thank you that you're sending them creativity, you're sending them ideas, you're sending them resources, you're sending them help. You're sending them whatever they need for their businesses in order for their businesses to grow and flourish and be successful and prosperous. And Lord, we just pray that you would continue to watch over us and our families, keep us healthy and safe. And we promise to give you all of the honor and the glory for it. It's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you guys so much. So real quick, thank you so much for joining the Emixer today. This is our second time doing the Zoom on Emixer, doing the Emixer on Zoom, excuse me. And we are really excited about it. We are pumped about today's lineup. We have some phenomenal speakers lined up for you today. You are definitely in for a treat. Whether you're watching here on Zoom or whether you're joining us by Facebook Live, you are absolutely in for a treat. You are going to love today's message. We have some incredible speakers from different parts of not just Louisiana, but even the entire nation, and you are going to be amazed. So real quick, some quick housekeeping tips before we jump into today's Emixer. We're gonna go ahead and mute all the lines. So everybody's line should be muted, and that's just out of respect for the speakers. So as the speakers are presenting, we don't want to be distracting. We don't want to interrupt them. We want to make sure that everybody is able to engage and fully participate in the Emixer today and hear what's being presented. Now, at the same time, I would like to call everyone's attention to the chat feature. So for those of you who are on the Zoom with us, you do have the chat feature on your computer, on your monitor. If you don't see it, you can just kind of hover over the screen, or the center screen there, and that chat feature should pop up. That chat feature is going to be so important for us today and going forward, because that's where we're going to be able to connect. Ordinarily, in an Emixer, it's a live event, and we're naturally able to exchange business cards. But in a Zoom, we can't exchange business cards. So we're going to utilize the chat feature. If you click on that chat feature, a little pane should pop up on the right-hand side of your screen, allowing you to chat. If you're on your phone, I'm not really sure exactly where it appears, but you should be able to see it. And then you should have some options at the bottom of that chat pane. And it should say something to the effect of to, semicolon, and then you have a drop-down arrow where you can either select everyone or you can select individuals. What I want you to do, because we want to grow our community, we want entrepreneurs to be able to network with each other. That's one of the purposes of what we do here. And so what I want you to do throughout the presentations tonight is I want you to utilize that feature and connect. Feel free to connect with the individuals one-off. Feel free to shoot them a message and say, hey, so-and-so, this is Dom. So great to connect with you. Here's my contact info. Here's what I do. Here's who I am. They'll exchange their information with you. If you have some kind of promotion going on or some kind of offer or something in your business with your company that you would like to share with the individuals, feel free to drop that there and people will be able to connect with you. I think that's going to be a great feature for us to utilize. because like I said, in a live event, we're able to do it. It just makes so much more sense. It flows so much more easily. The next thing that I want to do is I want to thank our sponsors. So our sponsors for the Emixer are the Empowered Nation and also 3D Extreme, which is owned by Craig Billings. So thank you, Craig, for your sponsorship in Emixer, as well as Point of Light Network and the great work that they're doing throughout the country. All around the nation, there are people who are involved in the Point of Light Network. One of the co-founders is with us this evening. That's Joseph Luellen, and you'll get to hear from him in just a second. But I definitely want to take the time and shine some light on our sponsors and thank you guys for everything that you do to make Emixer a great success. I also want to briefly thank our speakers. So every one of our presenters this evening, thank you so much for what you do. For those of you who are not presenting, I want you to understand what our presenters are actually doing, because it could be misconceived that the presenters are getting something out of this. What you're going to hear tonight is information that's going to benefit you and your business. Each one of our speakers comes on with you in mind. They're not coming on here with some agenda. They're not coming here hoping to get you to buy something from them. Their whole focus in presenting to you is to help your business move forward. And so I want to thank them because they don't have to do that. They don't have to do it. There's really no agenda in it for them. So they're just doing it to be generous, and I really appreciate them for that. And I hope that you guys take the time out to thank each one of them in the chat for what they're doing for our community as well. Now, like I said, you're going to absolutely be blown away by the content that you're going to hear. And so without further ado, I want to go ahead and get right into it because I'm watching the time and I see that it is moving quickly. So I want to make sure that I don't take up too much time from our speakers. Our first speaker tonight is none other than Mr. Joseph Luellen. Joe is out of the Detroit area. He is a co-founder of Point of Light Network, and he is a phenomenal trainer, speaker. I mean, this guy is amazing. Good friend of mine, and I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to connect with Joe a few years back, and we started doing some things together, and we're still working together to bring more positive news and information and just a positive energy into the world all around us. So I want you to get ready for Joseph Luellen. I want you to get your expectation up. If you came on this call and your expectation was down here, I need you to raise it up higher because you're about to get blown away. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the call this evening, none other than Mr. Joseph Luellen. Take it away, Joe.
Thank you, Dominic, for everything that you're saying there. I want to definitely say about Dominic that he has challenged me to always stay as positive as possible. Now, there are times when we would talk about some things and Dominic would just say, hey, really pay attention to how you're coming off when you say these things. He knew my intentions, but he really made me aware of being at the right tone. And he's always saying, get excited. This guy is serious about it. He wants everybody to get excited. So I'm going to do a presentation today that is kind of a two-part presentation. It was first shared up on SlideShare, which is a slideshow presentation medium that was its own thing. Then it got merged with LinkedIn. And then I reviewed it and I added some things to it. And I really want to just jump right into it. It's called The Power of Networking and why networking is so important. Now, I'm going to go through some of these slides in the beginning very fast because this is being recorded. So you can go back and view these slides frame by frame if you need to. But for time consideration, I'm going to try to do this as fast as possible. So I just set my timer and now I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to talk about the power of networking. And I hope I do this right. I hope everybody can see the slideshow that I'm putting up. Okay, so we have this thing called the Point of Light Network. And there's a reason it's called the Point of Light Network. We are all individual beacons of hope. And if we all get together, we can create light towers and we can create a network of hope all the way around the world. Now, this synergy is a real thing. We've got thousands of people on LinkedIn and Facebook that are committed to sharing good news. So as I go through this, oh, now let's see if this wants to behave. Okay, so here is a very good quote from a couple of people that are very famous. And it says, your circle should want to see you win. Your circle should be pushing you every day. Your circle should encourage your growth. So I want you to think about your circle. Does your circle do this? Okay? Do the people that you hang around and the people that you network with, do they want to see you win? Or are they jealous? What do they say about you when you're not around? So I want you to really take this with you all the way through this. Now I'm going to move kind of quick through the rest of this. When you are building your brand, when you are building your business, okay, if you are using social media, you might see yourself in one of three ways: as a bubble, as an atom, or as a network. And I'm going to show you the different ways to go about this. A lot of people see themselves as a bubble. They get out on Facebook or LinkedIn, they start tweeting or they do YouTube videos, but a lot of people, they're going at it by themselves. Now, most social media is dominated by people with traditional media coverage, and the rest of us are forced to go it alone. So here's the thing. Sometimes people band together, they join groups, but they're really still operating as a bubble, okay? And they're trying to ride their reach. Now, here's the reason why being a bubble can be dangerous. No matter how big that bubble gets, it can still be popped very easily. No strong connections. If anything happens to you, the whole brand is wiped out. So the next thing you might see yourself as, you might see yourself as an atom. You got a really strong nucleus and you got some people circling around you and you got your brands out there. You're trying to do everything you can, but you're still really just operating alone, okay? So you're trying to navigate all these different social media platforms. I mean, look at all these platforms that are out there. If you just look at the top line, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, those are by far the big four, right? I mean, in the United States, they say Donald Trump rode Twitter all the way to the presidency, but he had a lot of regular media coverage at the same time. Do you really think you can go up against some of those really powerhouse people, even if you're on all these different networks? You got a lot of work to do, right? It's really hard to go it alone. So sometimes people will go out there and they will buy social media managers that will push all this content out into all these different platforms. But I got to ask you a question. If a tree falls in the forest and there's nobody there to hear it, does it make a sound? So if you're pushing all this stuff out to all these different platforms, but there's nobody there to view it, what happens to it? So a question again and again, do you really think you can do all this by yourself? Okay. The reason we created the Point of Light Network was to bring positive people together and create real world results. Okay. We're looking at it as a network. Now, Bill Gates, you either love him or you hate him. Man, there's all kinds of conspiracy theories about Bill Gates. He's one of the richest men in the world, but he said, point blank, content is king, okay? Traditional media and marketing companies know this, okay? So they work around the clock to get newspaper coverage, magazine coverage, radio coverage, and television coverage. And the people that dominate social media also receive the most traditional media coverage. It's not by mistake, okay? They have all kinds of stealth marketing teams that will get out there and push their product on social media just as well as all the other media groups. I'm gonna ask you one more time. Do you think you can do this all by yourself? So if we had a network of members that will grow the network, the power of the network, and we are committed to spreading good news and empowering each other. Dominic has been part of this. Frank Briggs has been part of this. We've had people come and go all across the country. I've said it time and time again, 10 people working together can reach hundreds, if not thousands of people, instead of one person trying to do it all by themselves, okay? You cannot compete with mainstream media and highly funded companies working alone. But by co-promoting on a regular basis, we can be a lot stronger than working in a bubble. So I want you to think about this. If you bring people together under a common network to share good news on a daily basis, it's been said, you hear 100 pieces of bad news every day. Who's gonna bring you any good news, okay? Who's gonna do it? You have to make a personal commitment that not only are you gonna build your brand, but you're gonna spread good news, and co-promote for each other. That is how we operate as a network, okay? You can't do it alone. So again, Facebook, LinkedIn, even WordPress, YouTube, SlideShare. These are all things that we've used to help promote the Point of Light Network, and we want to coach and mentor each other. If you have a question on LinkedIn or Facebook or some of these different things, by all means, shoot me a message and say, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? You can learn by teaching. You learn by doing, and then you learn even more by teaching. So if we mentor each other and co-promote for each other, we're going to learn 100 times more than if we try to struggle and do it all by ourselves. So again, instead of buying a bunch of premium social media managers and throwing money at fake likes and stuff like that, wouldn't you want to have 10 or 15 strong connections with people that you know, if you're having a bad day, you can go to your LinkedIn or you can go to your Facebook and you'll hear good news from them, okay? Guaranteed on a daily basis, you're gonna get a steady stream of good news. That is the point of the Point of Light Network, is to cross-link as many people together on LinkedIn and Facebook as possible, and to co-promote and to spread good news. Now, I told you that the people that do the marketing, they understand this stuff. If you look at this pyramid, it's called the 110-100 pyramid. It happens in a lot of different things. The top 1% of contributors on social media, okay, they affect the next 9 to 10%. Those are the people that are going to like and share the content. So are you going to be a creator, or are you just going to like and share? 90% of the people on social media, they just look and follow what the top 10% are doing. So you have to ask yourself a question. Where do you want to be on this pyramid? If we had 10, 15, 20 people operating as the top 1%ers, do you know how many more people you're going to reach? It's going to go from 20 to 200 to 2,000. See how that works? Okay, this is something that the traditional media companies know. Okay, 1% actively contributing, 10% are going to be engaged by that, and 100% of the people are going to now get that message. So 20, 200, 2,000. You see where we're going with this? It grows exponentially. So why do we want to do all this? Do we think we just want to do all this to pass back and forth on LinkedIn and Facebook and see how many likes we're getting? No, we want to do motivational workshops, conference calls, Zoom meetings, fundraisers, volunteer drives. We want to create real world results at the end of this thing, but you have to reach people. If you don't reach people, nobody's going to show up for that volunteer drive. Nobody's going to show up for those community service events, right? What would you rather have, 100 people liking and sharing, or 10 people that you can go down to the food bank with and actually volunteer for a day and get something done? Okay, well, you have to have those 1,000 people liking and sharing to get those 10 strong connections so you can actually go do these kind of things. Okay, so the heavy lifting, look at over on the side, Habitat for Humanity, right? You are not going to lift that wall by yourself, right? You get 100 people together, you can build a house in one day for a homeless person, right? Doesn't that go a lot farther than slamming this side or that side on social media? So this is why it is so important for us. We want to get the real world results going. So I'm going to say this one more time. Does your circle want to see you win? Do they want to see you grow? Will they push you every day? Don't let small-minded people convince you that your dreams are too big. Don't do it. Get yourself around people that want to see you win and are going to push you. And if you're having a bad day, they're going to be the first ones to pick you up and pull you out. I can personally say that I've reached out to people when I've had losses in my family, when I've lost my job. I've gone through all kinds of stuff. And the best advice that I got were from positive people that were contributing on a regular basis. And then I got my confirmation from total strangers that never knew what I was going through. I would just sit and listen, and all of a sudden, all that advice that I got from those people ended up coming true and being confirmed within 24 hours. So this is why this is so important. I want you guys to think about this. We're going to go back to the 60s. The Beatles appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show 3 consecutive Sundays in February. Now, their manager was really smart. Ed Sullivan was going to pay him a ton of money to come on the show as a warm-up band for somebody else. And their manager said, nope, what we want to do is we want to come on as a headliner 3 times in a row. And they said, okay, now 2 months later, from February to April, the Beatles held the top 5 slots on the Billboard Hot 100, okay, and had 7 other songs in the top 100. They wanted to break big in the US. Nobody has ever done that since this day. Top 5 songs all at once, okay? That is the power of a network, television network. So in 1969, a bunch of people got together at some universities and they created the first network of computers. And back in the day, you see these computer terminals? Computers used to fill a whole room, and you could only go to labs at colleges to work on computers. People didn't have computers in their home, okay? They only sent 2 letters of a text message before the whole thing crashed. Could you imagine if you sent 2 letters on your smartphone and it crashed after 2 letters? Most people couldn't even live like that these days, right? Well, guess what? Your phone is thousands, if not millions of times faster than the computers that actually put men on the moon. So let's talk about that for a minute. Did men really go to the moon or not? If you believe they did, the power of your phone is stronger by 1,000,000 times than the power of all the computers that it took to get a man on the moon. What are you doing with that power? Some of us have 2 and 3 phones and have multiple computers in their house. We could set up our own little NASA. Really, think about this with the computing power that we take for granted. Why is this important again? Without all this information, the shift from television to social media would have never happened. In 2016, 57% of people got their news by television and 38% social media. Now, today, 2020, 3.5 billion people are on social media. That is 45% of the population of the world. And guess what? Most of them are on Facebook, 68%. 73% use social media for marketing. Close to 50% say that influencers help build brands. Are you guys, is it coming together for you guys now? Do you see where I'm going? There is a seismic shift from television to social media, and brand building and marketing accounts for half of that activity, okay? So now I want you guys to think about this. I learned this today. I knew it, but I didn't know it. And you know how you can kind of know something, but you didn't know the facts? Well, Blockbuster. Go back 10, 15, 20 years, Blockbuster. There was a Blockbuster on every corner. And Netflix was a subscription service by mail, okay? I believe somewhere in, what was it? There was a chance for Blockbuster to buy Netflix. So if you look at these charts, in the 2000s, Blockbuster was making tons of money, and along came Netflix, and Netflix had a chance to be bought by Blockbuster. Blockbuster was valued at $8.4 billion. Net valued at about 50 million. Blockbuster walked away from a deal to buy Netflix. Now Netflix is worth billions of dollars and Blockbuster is out of business. So I want you to think about these things. Are you going to harness the power of the technology and the networking that is available to help you build your business, or are you going to hold on to old school methods that might work for a little while, but sooner or later your competition is going to literally eat your lunch for you? So that's why I'm saying, can you commit to literally just 15 minutes a day to join the Point of Light Network, to build your brand, to co-promote for the Point of Light Network? I'm not asking anybody to connect with me. I'm saying let's connect with a network and let us protect the power of that network. That's all it takes. We have Facebook pages and LinkedIn pages. We've had blog people, authors, speakers, people that have been doing podcasts. We've had some really great speakers come on the Point of Light Network. And we're now moving into these Zoom meetings and the things like Dominic's doing with the Emixers. I've got a thing called a 60-second motivational challenge. So my 15 minutes are up, but I'm going to ask you, can you take 15 minutes a day, share good news, invite 20 of your friends on a weekly basis, 20 of your contacts, build your personal contacts, build the network contacts, co-promote. and have a chance to reach millions of people? Or do you want to try to do it all by yourself? So that's what I have for you today. I hope you got something out of this. I know I had a lot of fun, and I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to turn it back over to you, Dominic.
Awesome, Joe. Thank you so much. And thank you again for being a sponsor of Emixer. And guys, I know that you got a lot of great information out of that. That was a lot of great content, great research that was shared. It was absolutely, I took some great notes here as I was listening to you, Joe. Really appreciate all that. I want to just quickly share with you guys a couple of things that I got out of it. One, don't be a lurker. Don't be somebody who's just lurking on the internet. Don't be the guy, the gal that's just lurking around, hitting a bunch of like buttons. Be the person who's engaging. And then don't be a bubble. I heard that loud and clear, Joe, not to be a bubble. And look, guys, let's be real about it. Whether you decide to make the Point of Light Network your thing or not, you need to connect. You need to network. That's what the Emixer is all about. At Emixer, it's all about networking with other entrepreneurs, success-minded individuals. So it's the same concept, right? It's the same principle of networking, of realizing that you can't do it all by yourself. And so you come along other people who are like-minded, going in the same direction, and you work together. You help each other out, you lift each other up, and you move forward and you win big together. So thank you once again, Joe. Next, we're gonna have, who is no stranger to the scene, Miss Arly. Miss Arly is actually joining us with her co-host today. It's gonna be Marcus. Marcus is there in the New Orleans area, and Arly is in the Baton Rouge, Louisiana area. And she is an expert in all things financial. So she spends all of her time and energy focusing on building and protecting wealth. That's why I invited her to be one of the speakers. That's why I invited her to be part of the Emixer community, because as entrepreneurs, we are the backbone, whether you like it or not, you signed up for this thing. We are the backbone of this economy. Without us, we create jobs, we create opportunities, we create products, we create services. Without us, the economy crumbles. And if you haven't realized that by now, it's time that you do. So what you do as an entrepreneur is very important. It's very critical to the economy of not just our communities and our cities, but of the entire nation. And so what Arly brings to the table is the ability for us to learn how to build our wealth and protect our wealth. Because as you're gaining wealth as an entrepreneur, it's going to be critical that you're protecting it so that you're not just losing it, so that it sustains for a long time, not just your lifetime, but we're talking about generations after you. And that's what Arly brings to the table. That's what she is so educated on and so professional about. I really love Arly. I'm so glad that she's part of the team here. And so without further ado, Miss Arly and Marcus, you guys take it away.
Hey, Dominique, how are you? How's everybody doing? Wonderful. Well, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be back here on this panel. Amazing information. Thanks for sharing, Mr. Luellen. I learned a lot about the power of network, and I completely agree with you. And as entrepreneurs, just like Dom says, it's very important that we learn the art of money. Right? Because we know eventually what will happen, we will build that wealth, and we plan to build that wealth, which is most likely the reason why we started to become entrepreneurs in the first place. And so one thing I realized over my journey of learning about finance and money as a whole is very important to learn about the most basic concepts that we can actually apply and start making things happen for ourselves. So last time on our call, I shared some of the concepts, and I just want to kind of dive deep into one of the concepts. And for interest of time, I don't have any slides that I'll be sharing, but I just want to touch up on one of the very important resources that I like to share, even with my community that I share with. But I want to send a reminder for those of you on the call last time. Do you guys remember this? Can you see my screen? Yes. Okay. So this is one of the concepts I want to just dive deep into, which is the wealth formula, right? We talk about you cannot do anything without, a clear path, right? We talk about building wealth. That's a great thing. Everybody wants to build wealth, but how do you build wealth, Well, we talk about having money, which we know how to make money, no problem with that. But how do you leverage time to your advantage when it comes to building wealth? How about your rate of return? Where are you putting your money to make sure that money is really growing and working for you? And at the same time, considering the two key important things, which is inflation and taxes, which is what takes away our money, right? So if you can take all those factors and components, what you have left is your wealth. So I want to kind of go over the two most important things to me, which is inflation and tax, that I think most people might be aware of, maybe sometimes overlooked, which is, I know inflation is, but most of us as entrepreneurs, we do worry about, taxes. And we know that, one thing that Benjamin Franklin said himself is that the two most certain things in our life in this world is debt and taxes, right? So when you make money, of course, people, they'll tax you. When you spend money, you get taxed. When you save money, you get taxed. And when you die, they still tax you. Okay, so from sales tax to income tax to property tax to estate tax and every other tax, anywhere you turn around, right? Taxes is awaiting you. So how can you find ways to reduce on your taxable income and ways to shield your wealth, as we talk about, from taxes and also inflation? And some people actually refer to inflation as a hidden tax. Well, we know that in the last 100 years from 1917 to 2017, the U.S. inflation rate has averaged about 2.99%. If you look at the average cost of living from back in the 70s to now, cost of living is consistently increasing, but is our wages, our money keeping up with that increase? Right? And most likely is not the case. So how can we make sure that, we make sure that we apply the wealth formula to beat inflation and also tax? So there's a lot that goes into that. And one bit of good news though is that, currently the US federal income tax rate is rather lower compared to back in the past. I know back in, I think it's 1944, where the tax bracket was about 94%. Imagine living in that era, right? And I think at one point it was a 70% in the era of Reagan. So today we could say that it has lowered over time, but we don't know what might happen of tomorrow. So currently with what's happening with COVID-19 and how people are being in taxes left and right, impacted with, unemployment and things that we know will affect us in the future. The taxing issue is very important. And so when you're doing investment savings, are you actually considering the tax impact on your money? What is your current tax rate? What will the tax rate be in the future? Will your tax rate rise, or do you think they will fall? And either way, are you prepared for it? So we know there's a shrinking Social Security tax base right now. Okay, and the number continues to decline, because back when people would consider, 40 people working to contribute to about three people retirement account, versus today where maybe 3 people working to contribute to one person's account, right? So it's not, the ratio has reduced. And you look at what just happened with the unemployment, 22 million people filing for unemployment. So those are things that, again, will impact our taxes over time. And so today, based on where you put your money as entrepreneurs, we know we're mostly our own source of retirement funding. Is that correct? So we know that we have to make sure we account a lot on what the taxes we do on our money. So I just want to share quickly a small resource, a very powerful resource that you can probably leverage to also go over some of these issues that we talk about that we consider. Can you see my screen? Trying to move it here.
Yep.
Technology, okay, wonderful. So we talk about tax. Where do you put your money? Well, where does your money go? Let's take a look at the tax treatment. What are the different types of investment accounts? So right now, based on where you save or invest your money, is it being taxed now? Is it taxed later? Or does it give you tax advantage, right? And you can think of it as terms of, am I being taxed on my seed? Will I be taxed on my harvest, based on how I invest and where I contribute my money? So we can see the different vehicles here laid out in the 3 buckets. Does that make sense? So where is your money being invested? Of course, each bucket here has a different purpose. right? So anything you put in here, you understand that it's being taxable at this moment, right? Every year. Here, you're deferring your taxes. And in these buckets, like your Roth IRA and et cetera, health savings account, life insurance, long-term, everything that you're gaining in this account will be tax advantage, so tax-free. So the question becomes, do I want to get taxed today or do I want to get taxed later? Right? What would be your answer? Is it taxable now or taxable later? Which one is important? It comes down to you, and it's a perfect simple example here of two people, one being taxed later and one being tax advantage, which means I choose to pay taxes now so that later on I don't have to incur that tax, right? I choose to wait to pay tax, right? And when it's time for me to use this money, I will have to pay tax on it, right? So what is the return? If I'm 29, I have 10,000 I'm investing currently, I can invest it and save it over time. If I'm earning about 8%, using the rule of 72 we talked about last time, every 9 years I can expect to double my money. If I'm B, I want to pay my taxes ahead, so I'm putting 7,500 in here, and I can expect the same amount of double, but I know that my money will never get taxed, right? So how does tax impact your money based on where you save your money, right? So according to this example, very simple. Your tax rate, if it's 25% today, when it's time to retire 65, assuming that's a retirement age, some people retire early, some people later on. If you have accumulated 160,000, you still get taxed 25%. That's a return of 120,000, right? If you're A and B, you still have your 120,000. You already pay tax on it, so you get it out tax-free. So you're equal, but do we know what tax bracket will be in 20 years from now, or 10 years from now, or 5 years from now? Will it be higher? Will it be lower? We don't know. So that's why it's so important to prepare with that in mind. Do you know what your tax bracket will be when it's time for you to take advantage of the money you've invested? So I just wanted to cover a few basic concepts. I want Marcus to share a little bit about how this implication of tax and inflation, also is very important as us as entrepreneurs, but really everybody when it comes to building wealth. Okay, and I'll stop sharing so he can share.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. How you doing? Okay, good. Good to see everyone here. Thank you for Dom for letting me get on the call today. This is my first time here. Okay, so again, my name is Marcus Harris, and I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. My original background is military. So I spent 11 years in the Navy doing civil engineering, and then transitioned to commercial real estate. And then from that standpoint, today, I love financial education. So what Arlene shared about, I think, is extremely important because as entrepreneurs, the thing we love most is freedom, right? We love freedom and the ability to control our future. That's why we work every day and work hard to build our brands and build our businesses. But, a lot of businesses struggle a lot today because of personal finance. Because not being able to manage the personal funds that is needed to keep the business going. So the information that Arlene shared today, I think is extremely valuable because we want to be able to manage our money better to be able to make it work better for us, so we can continue to outsource our funds to continue to bring more business in. So something that people forget about a lot is that particular topic is taxes. So we love to work and make money. But the question I always ask people, when you make all the money you're going to make, regardless of how you're going to make it, how you're going to avoid taxes, right? Where you're going to put it at to protect everything that you build, right? And that's something that's very, very important. I think everybody should know, regardless if you're an entrepreneur or not. I just think everybody should understand those key principles. And it helped me out a lot. Before I came here, I had a lot of assets, and I had a lot of money saved and no debt at all, but just understanding some of those key principles like that, help me plan better, and it's different between, becoming successful and becoming successful by design. right? Understanding the plan and really know step by step on how to get from point A to point B. That's the difference. So originally, before I come here, I built everything by mistake. You know, it just happened for me. You know, I just know I need something. I work really hard. I used to work roughly about 90 hours a week, you know. So I'm a hustler, you know, which most of us on here is. But it's different when you work hard by design and you start to understand the principles that is needed in order to build that financial foundation. So that's all I kind of wanted to share. I don't want to share a whole lot of information, but the book that she had, they have a lot of key principles regarding things like debt management, regarding things in terms of avoiding taxes, retirement, and so many other things that dealing with the financial industry that, and as entrepreneur, finance is a major part of what we deal with day in and day out. So one part is building the brand and networking, another part is managing, you know, once we bring our business in. Okay, so thank you for allowing me to share.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. That was phenomenal. Thank you, Arly. Always a great job there as well. Super educated. I want you guys to make sure you are sending them private messages in the chat off to the side. Get their names, get their numbers, exchange contact info, because this area, this topic of finances is so important. We can a lot of times think that we have it together, or even sometimes we pretend. We want to put on a facade. We want to put on this face that we have it together, when in reality we don't. We don't know what's going on with our money. We don't really understand how it's working for us, how we can make it work better for us, how we can multiply it faster, how we can protect it better. We don't really know these things. We don't have the answers. And I'm telling you guys, I brought Arly and her team here for that specific reason, to make sure that as you guys are building wealth as entrepreneurs, you're not losing it just as quickly, or if not quicker. I want to make sure that you're in this thing for the long haul. And like Marcus was talking about, Marcus, I think that's a great point that you said. A lot of entrepreneurs suffer because their personal finances are what's being used to really get things ramped up. And if your personal finances are having some challenges, then obviously that's going to affect your business. And we can't afford that. We as the community, we as the nation can't afford for you as the entrepreneur to have your business fail. So I want you to make sure you connect with these individuals. Again, off to the side in the chat, connect with them, share your name, your information. They're going to do the same with you. But find some time to link up with these guys. Marcus, real quick too, before I forget, I want to say thank you so much for your service. And there in the Navy, I didn't realize that about you. So I learned something new about you here tonight. Thank you so much for your service. We do appreciate that. Also, I did want to comment on Arly's points. Took some great notes again. Look, guys, if you are not getting something out of this Emixer tonight, you must have fallen asleep. Wake up, get excited, because there's some great information being shared here, and it is free, absolutely free of charge to you. No hidden agenda, no motives, nothing. So make sure you're excited. Make sure your expectation is up here. Take some great notes. Arly talked about beating inflation. Beating inflation. That's amazing. And taxes. So you have to be prepared. If you're not prepared, if you don't have a plan, you will not beat inflation. So obviously we're going to go ahead and reverse that. Inflation will beat you. Okay. So if that isn't a wake up call for you, don't get beat by inflation. Beat inflation, get prepared, get a strategy, get a plan in place to make sure that you're ahead. And Arly said about taxing my seed or taxing my harvest. Man, that was powerful. Love it, guys. Thank you so much for the share. So this thing is just getting built up more and more and more. I hope you guys can feel it. I hope you can sense it, because we are moving on to our next speaker, who is, of course, again, no stranger to the microphone. Miss Halaine has been a phenomenal friend. She is full of energy. Man, she has so much energy, so much life about her, so much passion. She has the zeal like you would never believe. You've never seen excitement and energy like you're going to see it here in Halaine. She was on several other, I think it was like 3 other live events, things like this today alone. And she'll be doing some more throughout the rest of this week. So you have to have energy to be able to do that. She's a really good friend of mine. You are absolutely going to love what she talks about this evening. So pull up your chair close to the mic, pull up close to your computer, your phone, whatever you're watching on, listening on. Get ready to take some great notes. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Miss Halaine.
Hey, everybody. Well, I'm going to jump right in because I notice time is of the essence. And just a little bit about my background, and I probably need to give you this, Dominique, is I actually was outstanding marketing graduate at Southeastern when I graduated. I run 2 businesses right now, a speaking business and a real estate business. And for the longest, real estate has been number 1, and I'm actually switching those now to go back into speaking, especially with this virtual market. I'm finding the same things I need for speaking is the same things I need for real estate. It's all about customers. It's all about finding clients. And how do you build that rapport? How do you get your business? Really, how do you keep your name and your face in front of them? So I'm going to share that with you in honestly 4 items. I called Lucas right before, and he's not even here today, but he's a member of our group, and he has a flooring company. And I've been talking with him. I'm actually selling my house right now. If any of y'all know anybody, I'm in Prairieville at 300. Let me know. On the lake. It's a nice house. Anyway, I called him and I asked him, I said, look, I'm going to focus on marketing. What are the top 3 or 4 things you think or would you want to know about your business and how to market it? So he gave me some great things, and I'm just going to go off of that. So number 1, he said, is how do you ask when you're either new to the business for business? How do you start out? How do you ask? There's a class I took multiple times in real estate, and one thing it focuses on is it's called bold, it's being bold. But one of the things that it's really big on is it's starting to get more towards quality, but was quantity. So there's a quantity versus quality type aspect. So quantity wise is really going up to everyone you know. I meet people. I love meeting strangers. So I'm in the grocery store line. I'll start commenting on something. That's a nice shirt. Or if they say something, I'm eavesdropping, and I'll just ask, especially, my favorites are, it's when you go to trade shows or people that are stuck. So like the mall, people that have to sit there. So if you don't have any business, go to those businesses. They can't go anywhere. They're stuck. They're actually glad to have interaction. And I'll say, do you know anybody wanting to buy or sell a house? And true story, I met someone in Walmart, which is to some would not be the ideal place for business, but it's my favorite place to visit. And we were doing what was called a bold 100. I wanted to get 100 people in one day. I love doing those, that I asked who wants to buy or sell real estate. Well, this lady, I asked her, and literally her eyes looked up, and it's like she's like this. And she says, I'm going to call you. Sure enough, she was getting out of a situation, and she needed help. All right, hopefully I'm still on here. Okay, at 10% battery, so hopefully I'll end before then. Anyway, come to find out, I ended up selling her house. Her husband bought a house, and eventually she's going to buy another one, which is 3 deals from just asking a stranger, who do you know wants to buy or sell real estate? So that's one way. I'm going to get further, a little more detailed. I talk about seed scattering. I'm a very God girl, and it matters what you scatter. I've been scattering all over for a long time, and I'm believing for a harvest on that. But I'm really starting to get a little more narrow and a little more intentional on where I'm scattering now. So that's where I'm going to go into the next question that Luke asked. He said, how do you target correctly? What's the correct audience to target? How do you know? So I've been doing this big old challenge the last couple of days, and I'm actually spending beaucoup money to increase my skill set on doing virtual presentations. And one of the things they taught us on there was about targeting your audience. And what he said was, one of the guys who taught, I think he had the book Trafficking. And it was a great speaker. He wrote the book Trafficking, because the whole thing was, if you have this website, you have a Facebook page, if you don't get the traffic, you don't get the business. But one thing he said is, I just looked at, where do my people hang out? So he kind of looked at, you try to get as deep as you can. And there's probably more I can tell you than I can say in this 5 or 10 minutes. But you try to get as deep as you can. For instance, Lucas, he has florists. Where does his people hang out? Well, honestly, realtors are one of his people, because we are dealing with people changing floors all the time. Flooring, people that own floor businesses, that's another place. word of mouth is the greatest, you know, to get them after he does their flooring to post it. Now, when he was here, I was talking about Facebook Live because I love it. And so he started doing some Facebook Lives, I noticed. I thought it was great because he's showing his floors. The thing that's cool, I would encourage him specifically to do YouTubes and to have a Facebook Live, not so much a private page, but just a name just for his business, where he shows not only laying of the floors, but one of the biggest questions is, you know, for me, I'm troubled with the coloring of the floor because it's a big deal. Once you get it down, you can't get it back up. So I want to see some floors done. So I'd love to see what he's done before. So that evidence leaves, you know, success leaves clues, which is evidence. And that you want to just keep pointing down, and it shows you know what you're doing and how to do it. The third question, he said, is how do you format the message and what do you present? Now, as a, one thing again, let me just share, I'm a certified speaking professional. If you know anything about this, I have belonged to the National Speakers Association for over 20 years. And I did the seminar circuit. I spoke 5 days a week, 6 hours a day, different city every day, every other week for like 8 years. And so I developed time, you know, the best way to get in and do something and be a master at something is to get in and do it and get better at how you do it. So when it comes about giving presentations, one little trick I do often is I would say, okay, like this one, I called Lucas and I said, hey, what do you do? You know, what is it you want to know if you're in the audience? I'm writing a book right now. So I started going to women asking, it's targeted towards women. Hey, I'm writing a book, Greatness Blooming. What are the top 3 things? Notice I say top 3 things you would like to know. Whenever I did a new speech, I did the same thing. I would say, okay, look, like, or if I was sent out on a new topic, I never forget the first time I did conflict resolution. I already was doing it it's actually my specialty. I was doing it for women. Well, then the first time I had men in the audience, I like to throw up. Literally, I had to go back to my room before I went out on the stage that particular day, because you relate to men in a different way than you relate to women. And this is all important to know. This new challenge I'm doing, they just sent out a scenario. How do you learn? They asked us. Do you learn? And I thought it was just the 4 things: visual, hearing, learn by doing. They actually asked more. Do you learn by being led through? It was just more detailed. Do you learn by, you know, it was different ways, walking you through your handheld versus giving you a demo and you go back and look at it. So they were real specific about how, you know, how do you learn? So again, on this one, whatever you're teaching, you know, I got to sit at Jack Canfield's table one day, Chicken Soup for the Soul guy. He bought us all wine for NSA. And one thing he taught me, I was so nervous, I was new, and I was just starting speaking. He said, Halaine, look, he said, when you go out to do a presentation, don't look at yourself. It's not about you. He said, look at the people and ask and find out, what can you do for them? You have something they want. So focus on your customers and clients and what can I do, you know, to serve and help them. That was so valuable. So if you're worried and nervous about presentations, I'm that odd person. I love it. Give me a microphone. I rock. I just love it. But it's the #1 thing people fear next to death. But if you're nervous about it, focus on the people. And again, go ask in line. Talk to people. Hey, you know what? I do flooring. I'm giving a presentation on how to do floors. My question is, if you were putting in new floors in your house, what are the top 3 things you want to know or you want to do? Guess what? They're going to tell you the answers, but guess what else? They're going to get your card and they're going to know who you are, that you do floors. You just now shared and networked with someone who could be a future prospect for you. So the last one I want to talk about is just COVID-19. We are in this situation, and my husband can't pick up my daughter. So I said, he has his own business. I said, what would you want to know? He said, I would focus on talking about what's going on right now. So this challenge I just did, the guy that did it, Tony Robbins, is asking him, how did you do it? What did you do? And Tony Robbins just spoke last Monday. He's going to speak next Monday. And one of the things I just want to share about that is he's like now this person that's going out. But here's what he did. I use this from sales. You might have used it before. It's called the SWOT analysis. So you look at what is my strengths, what is my weaknesses, what are my opportunities, and what are my threats. So he lost millions. His name's Pete Vargas. He lost millions at the beginning, February, March. Sat down with his team and he said, okay, what's our strengths? What are our weaknesses? What are our opportunities? What are our threats? Well, they were good at adjusting to the market. They were good at doing lives. They knew how to do virtuals. His whole thing is how to get stages. Well, now it's not getting physical stages, it's getting virtual stages. Well, guess what? When you get virtual stages, you do your own, and then you also get on other people's stages. So remember we talked about your target market and what that is, like for Lucas, who's doing the floors, it'd be realtors, it'll be the people that sells flooring, things like that. Well, you find out, do these people do podcasts? Is there a YouTube channel of how to do floors? You be a guest speaker on their platforms. That's how you get business. And then you have to be able to offer what you do by saying, either you're, some type of product they can buy. I'm doing my first product right now. And actually this is a 7-day spiel of it. And what it's called is Pivot to Your Purpose, 7 days of powering you up and praying you up to rise after a fall, which is, again, a lot of people losing jobs right now. I had that happen before in Kansas City, moved for a job. And then I had to regroup. I had to get my tribe together and move forward. So you regroup when these things happen. COVID, regroup, and you look at what do I have that's not working, that won't work in this environment? Get it out of there, get rid of it, or put it on the back burner, and then pull in, what do I need to have different that people want right now? Virtual, start learning it. Start learning the Zoom inside and out. Start learning, I would go for YouTube for Lucas because he does flooring. It's a hardcore product that they could go to, as well as Facebook. I talked to Dominique about Facebook for this group, and only because, as well as doing Zoom, we could put this on Facebook and invite people in. It's a closed group, so then we start networking and growing that too. Again, it's all growing the awareness, but bottom line, let me just tell you what these people are looking for. Email lists. And I don't know about you, I'm not an email fan. I don't like it. I have a database with Keller Williams, and I kept fighting working my database. Well, let's just say that's where the money is, and that's where the juice is. And what the emails will do is start you getting what they call click funnels, where you start selling a product and you start getting where you sell product, this product, you keep upping your game. So that's one of my key points I'm going to leave you with today. Start your email list, because YouTube, all those different avenues are ways to gather your community so you can then hit your target market and then again start growing and increasing your business. Sorry, I had so much to tell. This isn't even one of my regular topics. So I'm going to end right there. I just want to close. You always need a story when you close, and I'm trying to think. I want to leave you with a funny story. And I hope I didn't do it last time, but basically talking about meeting strangers. I love meeting strangers. And when I was engaged, I was speaking in Canada and I had a day free. So I went to Niagara Falls just because I could. And I said, what can I do to make this a little more adventurous, more fun than ever? So I had a cassette tape recorder and I was engaged. I told you at the time. So I said, I'm going to talk to everyone I meet and say, hey, say hi to Tom, my fiance. And so I did that. And guess what? As I started doing, I started saying, okay, now that I'm doing that, I want to up my game. And by the way, that's one of the biggest things. Just jump in, dive in, do something, and you learn from the failures. You learn from what you do to get better and better. So I said, I'm going to up my game. I'm going to ask for stories. Sure enough, I got this wonderful story. This man he's a world traveler, went to Algiers, Africa. And I might have told this, and I did spend lives. I don't even know what I told where. But anyway, I'll just tell you again. Here's what happened. He said he was out there, and he had to order the food, but he didn't know the language. Ooh, that's a good marketing tip. You got to know the people's language when you're doing marketing. So he said, I just pointed to something on the menu. And when he pointed to something on the menu, he's waiting for the waiter to bring it out. Next thing he knows, he is like shocked out his guts there. They are bringing him a live snake under glass. True story. He's telling me this is going on. This really happened. And I said, you are kidding. I go, well, what did you do? He goes, well, I just looked at the sucker. I didn't know what to do. So the waiter, good customer service, by the way, you always want to be observing. What are your people doing? What are they liking? The waiter noticed, hey, he's not eating the snake. So the waiter comes. He takes the snake, he pins it, He skins it, cuts it up in chunks, stabs it, and puts it in the guy's mouth. Oh, he did it in sauce, by the way. And I said, so what happened? He said, well, the guy asked. Well, he didn't ask because he didn't know his language. I said, well, what did it taste like? He goes, well, it tastes like chicken. It all worked out. The thing is, as you learn, as you go, I bet you he will never do that again. You see, you learn from your mistakes. You learn what works. If there's one thing I would do different, even in real estate, I would jump in quicker and recover quicker from the setbacks so I can move forward faster. That's it. Thanks so much.
Awesome. That is amazing, Halaine. And great story, very funny story. I don't think you shared that one last time, so you're good.
Okay, good.
And I just love the way that you said that, you ended on something that's very important. And I just want to quickly highlight that. And look, guys, real quick, I know that we're a little over on time. We're about 6 minutes over on time. We do still have another speaker lined up, and he is absolutely phenomenal. You're going to love what he talks about. He specializes in marketing. So if you can stay on the call with us, that'd be awesome. I would love for you to. If you need to dismiss, then that's fine. I completely understand that. I respect your time. That was on me that I went a little bit over. I got excited as I was reaching out to speakers, and I ended up booking 4 where I normally would book just 3. So it's okay if you need to step out. You are excused. Thank you so much for joining us up until this point. For those of you who are going to stick around with us as we dive into overtime, then I definitely want to just kind of talk about what Halaine finished saying, which is take advantage of the opportunities as these opportunities come about. And I can promise you that we're about to see so many more opportunities come our way after COVID-19. I can guarantee you that this experience is going to open up a floodgate of opportunities. You need to be positioned to be able to take advantage of those opportunities. We hear a lot about people saying pivot and scale. I would encourage you to pivot and position. Pivot, whatever you're doing right now in your business, pivot yourself and position yourself to take advantage of the opportunities that are coming. Not everyone is going to pivot and instantly see sales just skyrocket in their businesses. That's not going to be the story for everybody. But what you can do is you can pivot and position yourself. So that way, when those opportunities start coming, you're ready to take full advantage of them. Halaine, thank you so much. Great tips. The SWOT analysis, amazing. Yes, I've heard that, and I'm sure many others on the call have heard it, but it's always a good refresher. If you were going to do something, if you were going to do this thing, what would you like to have done, or what would you want to know about it? I think that if you haven't been taking notes this whole time, that would have definitely been the thing to take notes on. As an entrepreneur, that is a key, a nugget that will serve you well for the rest of your business life. So make sure that you wrote that down. If you were going to do whatever it is that you specialize in, so as you're talking with people, if you were going to buy a home, what are some things that you would want to know? If you were going to build a marketing business, what are some things that you would want to know? If you were going to do whatever it is, you simply ask those people, what is it that you would like to know? They're going to give you the feedback. Just like Halaine said, she is spot on. They're going to give you the feedback on what it is they would like to know, and they're going to in turn ask you, so is that what you do? And then right there, you just got yourself a new customer, a new client who's going to fall in love with you and refer you to friends and family. So this is amazing, guys. I hope you are as excited as I am. I doubt it. I doubt you're just as excited. I believe that I'm the most excited in this room. I hope I'm not, but I know that I'm loving every second of this. And to help wrap everything up, I have my good friend on with us today, Mr. Brockwell Bone, Mr. B in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He is a phenomenal marketing expert. He also does real estate, but he really specializes in marketing, the marketing strategy. What do you need to do for your business? What kind of branding do you need for your business? These are the types of things that he does, which is why I wanted him to be part of the Emixer community. What entrepreneur is not interested in marketing strategies and techniques? What entrepreneur is not interested in branding strategies and techniques? So here it is. We have an expert on the call with us this evening. And I'm gonna let him go ahead and share with us for the rest of the call tonight exactly what are some tips that we can take away when it comes to marketing and branding. Mr. B, the floor is yours.
Awesome. I am trying to share my screen here. Can y'all see the slideshow?
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Happy to be here, guys. This is my second time speaking at the Emixer. And Dom, I don't think you're the most excited person here, but you're certainly an inspiration to the rest of us because there's a lot of good stuff going on here tonight. So I appreciate you bringing the group together and having phenomenal speakers come together. And with that, I know that we're running short on time. I'm looking over at my clock here. We're at 7:11. So I'm going to try and be as quick as possible, but I do tend to kind of go on and on from time to time. So if you need to text me and tell me, hey, 2-minute warning, please feel free to do that, Dom. So we're going to talk a little bit today about rebooting after COVID. And really, this is not anything you haven't heard before. It's just all put together in one package that I think you're going to benefit from as a business owner. So a little bit about me. I'm Mr. Bone, or Mr. B, marketing coach here in Baton Rouge. For the last 20 years, I have helped small businesses and ministries with their marketing needs. Normally, I say a lot more here, but I'm just going to kind of skip ahead. I have a question for you. Has marketing changed in the last 20 years? Now, normally, I'm in a room full of people, and I ask them to raise their hand for yes, raise their hand for no. Everybody kind of think about your answer. Has marketing changed in the last 20 years? The answer is no, not exactly. Marketing has been the same for the last 20 years. You have what's called the marketing triangle. Now, I will say that the marketing triangle is not the intellectual property of Aptus Marketing. It came from a guy named Dan Kennedy, and he doesn't even remember where he learned it from, and he's been marketing since the 1970s. So the marketing triangle has market, message, and media. Now today we're going to talk just a little bit about media. Now that part of the marketing triangle has changed, but the fundamentals of marketing, market, message, and media have never, ever changed. So we're just going to cover what we call the core three here at Aptus. And the first one is website, okay? Dom shared that I'm also in real estate. I am a licensed real estate agent with Mike Walker and Associates. Over to the right, you're gonna see the homepage of my website as a realtor. And you have to remember with your website, it is the hub of all your marketing activities. Think about it. Your business card has your website address. Your Facebook links back to it, your LinkedIn links back to it, your emails link back to it. Everything directs everyone to your website. So it is the hub. It is a very critical component in promoting your business. It is there 24/7 to act as a salesperson. On your homepage, you need to visually, and I mean instantly, visually communicate what you do. If you look here, you can see there's a house, boom, right there. You know when you've come to this website that you're looking at something that has to do with a house. And if you're searching for a real estate agent or anything that has to do with a house, you feel like you're in the right place instantly. You're not going to back out, which happens a lot. You need to have some sort of call to action. Now, I don't know if you can read it, but here in the header, it says, get your free how to buy a house roadmap now. That is a call to action saying, hey, I want to give you something. This is how you get it. They click there. They give us a little bit of information, which moves from, hey, I'm browsing at your website to instant lead generation, okay? So the question is, well, in addition to that, sorry, I'm skipping ahead because I'm nervous about the time. You have to measure your website. Now, Google Analytics can easily plug into every website that's out there. You need to know how many people are coming to your website and where they're coming from, so you know which other medias are directing people in. Are they searching? Are they coming through Facebook and social media? Are they clicking on your emails? Things of that nature. How do you get started? That depends. Where do you move forward? That depends. Where are you now? Do you have a website? If not, Google will allow you through Google Business to develop a free website on your own, kind of a drag and drop, do it on your own. If you already have a do-it-yourself kind of website through GoDaddy, through Google, Squarespace, things of that nature, and you're ready to move up, you call someone like Aptus Marketing, where we can come in and build you a website that has all the critical components on it and that clearly communicates what you have to offer. If you're already at that spot and you're moving to like a multi-million dollars worth of revenue every year, it's time to bring all of that in-house and have an in-house marketing team. Let's move to the second media that we're going to talk about today, and that is social media. So here's the Aptus Marketing Facebook page. Business versus personal. Okay, guys, there's still several business owners out there that push their business through their personal Facebook page. And while more people see that, you're annoying your friends and family. And I'm being straight with you. You're annoying your friends and family. Share every once in a while from maybe your business page. Throw it onto your personal profile if it has a wide spectrum of interest, okay? If you're talking about the analytics and how social traffic to a website, my personal people are not going to want to see that. They want to see pictures of my granddaughter. They want to see the steak dinner I had the other night or whatever people post, because I typically don't post food. Go out there and get you a business Facebook page, okay? Call to action. Now you'll see here toward the upper right, there's that Learn More button on this page. With that, you can do Learn More, book a call now, schedule now, things of that nature. Utilize that button. And something that you can't see on the screenshot is in the header graphic at the top of the page, it has an offer and a call to action of how to respond to that. So tell them what to do next. Once you have their attention, tell them what to do next. How do you get started? Okay, so there's tons of social media out there. You got Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, tons of them. Start with Facebook and Instagram. They're the two most simplest to get started with. If you try and do, 7 of them at a time, you're going to get totally burned out, okay? So we're going to move to the third media, email marketing, okay? So this is the third and what we call core 3. You have website, social media, and email marketing. With email marketing, it needs to be mobile friendly. Most of the platforms, MailChimp, Constant Contact, they're all mobile friendly already because most people are using their cell phones, and I'm holding up my phone if you can't see my video, to check their mail, okay? Follow your brand. If you look over on the right, you'll see an Italian restaurant we do work for. Their logo is in green. Well, we have kind of a green hue in their picture, and we're carrying it all out. Now, ignore the hours there at the bottom. This was pre-COVID when they still had dine-in. But follow your brand from your website, from your social media, and carry it into your email so people kind of feel that recognition. That's what branding is about. They feel that recognition. I've seen this before, okay? So I'm going to give you a free tool today. After we skip past measure, I'm going to give you a free tool today, MailChimp. You can email up to 2,000 emails a month, paying absolutely nothing. So stop a minute and write that down. If you're not doing email marketing, Halaine just talked about how important email marketing is. MailChimp, easy way to go. So with those core 3, you've got website, which is your hub. You've got social media, which is there for lead nurturing, lead generation, and email marketing, which is there for lead nurturing and also direct sales, okay? So on your website, people want to know who you are. Tell them about you, how you can solve their problem. It acts as a digital brochure. Again, it is a 24/7 salesperson. They could be surfing at 2 o'clock in the morning when they woke up in the middle of the night and they have a problem, right? Also, it's about engagement. Have some sort of lead magnet on there, whether it's a book a 15-minute phone call. Here, get our free How to Buy a House roadmap. Here's 3 things to generate more leads in your company, things of that nature. Email marketing. What are you going to send out? Mr. B, what I don't want to just send out anything. Well, no, you send out articles, which are very, very useful. Give, and then ask, right? So give. Every month at Aptus Marketing, we send out at least one marketing tip article through email. Announcements, if you have something big happening in your business, make a big announcement about it. You're going to do that on social media, email marketing, and on your website, okay? So go cross-media with it. Also, email-only specials. My wife used to own a coffee shop. It sunk after the flood, but she would give out an email coupon, every week, $1 off this coffee or $1 off this sandwich, things of that nature. Social media, Mr. B, what do I post? I don't know what to do. Articles, sound familiar? You're doing that with email already. So you're going to take the article, post it on your website, send it out by email, and also put it on your social media. Pictures, people love to look at pictures. Think about Luke with his flooring business, okay? So Luke has all these great floors that he's done. If he keeps putting these pictures up, somebody's going to go, hey, I like this flooring right here. And videos. Now, Facebook loves videos. Instagram as well. YouTube, that's all that it is videos, okay? So Facebook will take text from an article and it'll share it to a few of the people that are following you. And I could go into more detail, but I know we're limited on time here. They'll take a picture and they'll show it even more than articles or words. But if you have a video, Facebook will show that even more than the other two. Don't always put pushy sales stuff. Not every post on social media needs to be, hey, I sell this widget. Hey, I sell this widget. We have this widget in green. Don't do that. Again, it's the give, then ask. And use that formula. Give 3, 4, 5, 6 times, then do a salesy kind of thing. I just got the 2-minute warning. That's funny. So here's a bonus. Normally we talk just about core 3, but with COVID right now, the Google business profile is very, very important. You can claim it. The guy named Steve, who's calling probably from across the seas, that says he's going to help you set up your Google business profile, you don't need him. You can go and claim your business profile. You will see a link when you Google yourself. You'll see a link in Google business profile that says claim this listing, okay? It updates like Facebook. So Google took Google Plus, which was a horrible, I'm just saying, being real with you guys, it was a horrible social media platform. We all used it because the king Google owned it. They smashed it into Google Business, and now it is wonderful. You can do updates like Facebook. You can post videos, pictures, text. You can do offers, put up special hours, things of that nature. Most people stop at the Google business profile. This is something I recently learned in the last few months. They'll go on Google, they'll search for whatever they're searching for, the Google business listings that will come up, they'll click on one and go, huh, that's my business right there. I'm going to choose that one. They don't even go to your website anymore. They stop right there. So it's very important to have a built-out Google business profile. I have one for my marketing business. I have one as a real estate agent. Normally, I do Q&A at this time. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask, feel free to hit the chat down below here in Zoom. You can email me, brockwell@aptusmarketing.com, or you can go to aptusmarketing.com and schedule a phone call with me. So, Dom, I appreciate the time, the opportunity to share this information with people, particularly as we're starting to reboot our state next week after COVID. Again, it's things that we all know, but to have it grouped in one place, I hope that you found value out of it. And I wish everyone's business a tremendous success as we move forward.
Awesome, Mr. B, as always. Always great information, great nuggets to share with the group, with the community. I even saw a couple of comments off to the side that other people have seen success with the Google business as well. And I didn't even know that I could go and claim my business like that. It's funny, but you know, I would have talked to Steve for a little bit and see if he could help me out. But I mean, it's just that simple. And those are the kind of nuggets, those are the kind of tips that I really love about Emixer, because in the community is where you get those types of tips, those types of little things that you didn't know before. So, you know, I'm gonna go now when we hang up, when we end this Zoom, I'm gonna be able to go to Google, search my business, and claim my business, and then next time when Steve calls me, I'll be able to just hang up on him instead of entertaining him for 15 minutes or so. But it's great tips like these, Mr. B, always great tips, great marketing tips, great advice. We really appreciate it. I know it's not nearly enough time to get it all in, but I know people are gonna be reaching out to you. Make sure you contact Mr. B there in the chats off to the side, exchange some contact information so that way you guys can connect, and he has a wealth of information and knowledge regarding marketing and branding that I know will be a tremendous help, a tremendous blessing to you and your business. So with that, guys, that wraps up our Emixer for this evening. Thank you so much once again for joining us. Thank you again to our sponsors, the Empowered Nation. Thank you so much. 3D Extreme, thank you, and Point of Light Network. Thank you all so much for helping to make the Emixer another great success. I know you got a lot of great information out of it. I know that it added so much value to you. Our speakers were absolutely phenomenal. They rocked it. Make sure you're putting the comments off to the side that the speakers were phenomenal. Let them know how much you appreciate them. Show them some love. They all did a great job, knocked it out of the park. So thank you once again for coming on and being a part of it and making this a great success. Until next time, guys, thank you so much, and be looking for more information on Emixer coming to you soon. Have a great night, and God bless. Bye.